Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum students. I am your IT teacher Shahid Ali Khan, and today I have another video related to computer buses. Today we will discuss about different type of buses and their functions. And in this diagram we can see the data is traveling through different buses and operations are performing by the microprocessor, and after that data is moving towards the memory through the buses. So let's see what is buses. A collection of wires through which data is transmitted from one part of a computer to another part. We can think of a bus as a highway on which data travels within a computer. We can say that buses are the highway, and through these highway data can travel from one part of a computer to another part and within the computer. When used in reference a personal computer, the term bus usually refer to internal buses. This is a bus that connect all the internal computer components to the CPU and main memory. Buses are the main part. They connect different component of computer and main memory through the computer. There's also an expansion buses that enable expansion board to access the CPU and memory. We can adjust different expansion buses as well with our computer or a motherboard. We can see in this diagram that there is a CPU, memory unit, input output unit, and all these parts are connected with our buses. And there are different type of buses: control bus, address bus, and data bus. As we can see in the previous picture, there is an animated picture and data is traveling through the memory. This one is a memory, and there are different registers, and data is stored in a registers. We can see in binary form 0101, and after that data is transferred through the data bus, and address is transferring through the address bus. And this one is a memory, and different operations are performing on the data. So buses are the responsible to transfer data from one place to another place between different components of computers. So let's see different type of buses. Before that, we can see another diagram on your screen. In that diagram, there is a memory portion, and we can see there are different registers, ALU, control unit, and data is stored in memory. And we can see data has a different address. In computer, data address is very important because computer could not recognize data until it does not have address. So address is essential in computer memory. We can see there is a data, and with the data there is an address. So computer can recognize data with its address, and computer perform operation according to the data address. And there are address bus, data bus, and control bus. And this one is a microprocessor. And microprocessor have different registers. For example, MAR, MDR, memory address register, memory data register, and CU is control unit, and arithmetic logic unit. These are the parts of microprocessor. Now let's see the different types of buses. Number one is control bus. A control bus is a computer bus that is used by the CPU to communicate with devices that are connected within the computer, contained within the computer. These occurs through physical connections such as cables or printed circuits. Control bus is responsible the overall operations performed between or amongst different components of the computer, or between two components of a computer. So control bus is looking overall operations taking place in the computer. We can see there is a control bus prominent on the top, and this one is a memory area, and this one is a microprocessor area, and microprocessor has control unit, ALU, arithmetic logic unit, and it has registers, different registers. Registers are the temporary storage areas, and we can see in different colors. Red color is a control bus, and blue color, that is a data bus, and the yellow color, that is address bus. And we have different input output ports, and it has different capacity of data. They are 32 bits. They can travel data at a time, 32 bits. The next one is data bus. In general, a data bus is broadly defined. The first standard for data bus was 32-bit, whereas newer data bus system can handle much greater amount of data. A data bus can transfer data to and from the memory of a computer or into or out of the central processing that acts as the device's engine. Data bus is responsible to move data from one component of a computer to another component of a computer towards the CPU and memory. A data bus can also transfer information between two computers. With the help of data bus, we can transfer data between two computers as well. And in this diagram, we can see on the top there is a data bus, and it has bidirectional, and data is coming from different components of the computer. We can see CPU, ROM, read-only memory, RAM, random access memory, and different input-output devices. So this one is data bus. So let's move towards the next one, that is address bus. This one is the last, address bus. An address bus is a computer bus architecture used to transfer data between devices that are identified by the hardware address of the physical memory, the physical address, which is stored in the form of binary numbers to enable the data bus to access memory storage. So address bus is responsible to carry the address of a particular data that has to be processed from the computer's memory. Data is stored into the computer memory, or each and every data has a separate address. With that address, computer can recognize the data. So according to that address, computer perform different operation, and data is moved towards the CPU, and CPU has different temporary storage areas. Those areas are called registers, and they have different name. For example, you can see MDR, memory data registers, MAR, memory address register. Memory address registers contain the address of a data, and the address of a data is traveled through the address bus or address line. We can see data address is moving towards the address bus and stored in the MAR, memory address register, while the actual data which has to be processed into the CPU, that is moved through the data bus, we can see, and it will store in the CPU register, that is memory data registers. And in the CPU, different operation can take place. For example, addition, subtraction, increment, compare, and so on. CPU perform different operations on the data and again return back to the memory after the processing. And address, again that address is moved towards the address bus, and data is moved towards the data, and the control bus is looking after overall operations. So these are the different buses that is used in computer architecture. I hope, students, that you are familiar with the different buses used in computer architecture. If you have any question, you can ask. In the next video, we will come with a new topic of computer science. So until that, Allah Hafiz, I'm going to signing